which
Okay.
I hopped onto that with him and really, really freaking enjoyed it. And that's what set the spark off for me in wanting a PC.
Fortnite.
And
Sorry.
absolutely got sick of using a controller. All I wanted was a freaking mouse and keyboard. I think
Why don't you play
CS
Counter-Strike with me? Because you hate me. It's fun.
It's CS2. It's so bad now. Like
No,
Valor's is a better game at the moment.
Just okay.
Listen.
Just
That
hold
being
up.
said,
No. Hold up. Yep. Let's just go through this step by step, brother.
going full on into anime, I really enjoy it now. So I will call myself a bit of a weeb.
Do you read subtitles or do you watch dubbed?
I watch dubbed.
Okay, end of the interview. I'm at it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Who Is with the one and only Carlo, not ZA. Very specifically, not ZA, as he's just informed me. Carlo, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great. It's really cool to get a Tarkov dude where we met in the pits of Tarkov, actually. And
can we still say that I'm a Tarkov player?
How many hours you got in total?
Over 2,000.
Yeah, you can say you're a Tarkov player. I think once you go over like 1,500, I would say that's the standard of I'm a real Tarkov player.
I think it's like closer to 4,000, but yeah, somewhere around there.
You're actually getting close on me then. I'm on 4,600 ish on Tarkov.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been going since the end of 2019, so it's a bit.
Yeah. I grinded the hell out of that game like in the beginning of my Twitch career.
Yes. Well, that's how we found you.
I wouldn't even say that was my Twitch career because I barely streamed then. But yeah, during that time there was nothing else but Tarkov.
Well, then Krim found you because of that, and he was like, "Hey, you should check out this Carlo kid." And then, especially with guys, I'm a lot more like kick down the door, and you handled yourself really well. It was what I remember, and I was like, "Dude, this guy's laid back. He's chilled. He's like a guy." And then we actually played some duos together, and have literally suffered in those trenches together, getting hacked on, and bosses teleporting and hitting you with their hammers on factory, which you know about and stuff like that. So yeah, that's. But let's take it back, okay, into a foundational sort of question. Where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? So I grew up in Johannesburg, Roodepoort side, the West Strand. I mean, that's where most of that's where most of my growing up happened. But I was born in Benoni.
Oh, you're Benoni. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm East Rand. You far East Rand. Okay, I got you.
Yes,
okay.
Very far East Rand. So, didn't spend a lot of time in Benoni. I think like a lot of my a lot of the memories that I do have. It's not a lot. Yeah, I can't say that there's any specific things that I can pinpoint and tell you about from the time I spent in Benoni. I think we moved when I was about 4 years old.
Look, it's probably a good thing, but carrying on.
Yeah. So most of my growing up was spent in between Roodepoort, West Strand side, and Cape Town, with my dad living in Cape Town. So I spent quite a lot of time moving between the two.
Okay, and then I would suppose like school must have been, especially high school, if you're bouncing between two locations. Were you in like a traditional like government Model C private school, or were you homeschooled, or what was your schooling?
Private school until I switched schools quite a few times, but all of it was kept private school IEB criteria, and most of my schooling was done in Johannesburg. There were a few moves here and there, but not anything that really made a huge impact. I think that the biggest impact for my schooling was the last 2 years of it being spent during lockdown, COVID, all of that kind of happening. And I think that's what upset. If there was anything that upset anything at all during my education phase, that's it. But even then, it wasn't that bad.
Okay, how old are you now?
I'm 22, turning 23.
So are you technically younger than Layla?
No, I'm like 23 days older than Layla.
Oh damn! Oh jeez! Like so, you guys are like
Yeah,
right
yeah.
on top of each other like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Same month, just a little bit, few days apart.
and it's so cool to have you guys on the pod like back to back like that as well because
Oh
you're
yeah.
living together and stuff as she indicated. And
Oh,
I did
she's
not
been
dox
walking in
you.
the.
Okay, she doxed you.
She knew
She
already. Okay,
doxed you,
okay.
dude. I'm just saying.
It's pretty much been put on Twitch and everything already. I mean, it was very difficult to kind of hide that stuff, especially with like having each other pop up in each other's streams, so people were gonna know. So we just put it out there. We're like, okay, it was actually a DIY stream that I was doing. I was putting up all these foam panels on the wall here,
Yes.
and I just decided, fuck it, Layla's gonna help me uh, do this little DIY foam wall project, and then and they were just like, you know, fuck, there's no point in hiding it. Yes, we live together, we are roommates, and that's kind of it. Um,
So,
but
what are
yeah,
you doing? Sorry, I just before I kind of stray away from this, she's obviously doing coding and stuff. Is streaming your full time? Is that your
yes,
income base at the moment, right?
streaming is my full time income base at the moment. And it has been since about last year February.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
When did you actually start like going live and streaming and such?
That was while I was studying in 2023, I believe. Around I started streaming in end of May, beginning of June. I wasn't taking it seriously. I had a couple of days before I had to fly back to Joburg for jaw surgery, and I had some off time, so I decided, fuck it. I've got an upgraded PC. I always wanted to stream, but was never able to stream because my computer was never good enough.
Hmm.
But beginning of 2023, I managed to upgrade my computer quite a lot, and it was just kind of there while I was studying. And then when I had the off time before flying to Joburg, I decided, you know, screw it, I'm going to try the streaming out. And I you know, put a lot of time into it during that week or so that I had, and within a week managed to actually get my affiliate.
Nice.
That was sometime in June. I then remember like doing my last stream. It was like a grind for affiliate. And it was with the one last stream that I had to do to make the hours and everything to reach affiliate. Did it. Remember letting it refresh 24 hours later. I was already in Joburg looking at everything on my iPad and had seen that, you know, I'd reached the affiliate status, and that was pretty cool. For me, I then had a lot of downtime because I had a jaw surgery scheduled. So then spent the next 2 months or so in Joburg, so wasn't able to
why
stream.
jaw surgery? Let's just poke that with a stick
So,
quickly.
I mean, that's going way back. So I used to have like horrible teeth. Just unfortunate. My teeth were I had the biggest middle gap in my top row of teeth. I could fit my tongue through it. It was horrible. I had really terrible teeth and a really bad overbite. Um, and the problem was the overbite. It was causing health issues for me because I wasn't able to breathe properly. It was making me. It was giving me really bad sleep apnea. Basically made me a mouth breather.
Sorry, man. That's
Um,
cock.
so I went through a whole bunch of. I mean, my orthodontist or orthodontic treatment started when I was 14, and then well, it only ended last year in May. So I was, you know, from 14 to 21 is kind of how long I went through dental treatment.
Hmm.
So that was the reason for the jaw surgery, was to correct my my overbite, which was causing really bad sleep apnea and respiratory problems. Just a quality of life improvement.
Okay. No shame, man. That's really sucky. What did you study after school? What did you want to do? Kind of like it's such a kind of loaded question as well because I think it's so crazy that at 18 we're expected to know exactly what we're going to do for the
Oh
rest of
yeah,
our lives and go and study
I had
that.
no clue. I had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do. So I'll take you through like a little bit of a story, kind of stepping stones of how I got to where I am now. I finished school a year later for my age. Because of other health issues and stuff. I ended up missing a lot of school when I was younger because I used to do a lot of sports and I ended up breaking half my body. Um, in the 1 year doing BMX racing and stuff. So that set me back quite a bit. So I ended up staying back and doing a year again, which I think was actually perfect. It helped me make a lot of the friends that I have today. Um, and yeah, it just feels like, at the time it felt like one of those things like, this is such a setback. It's horrible, but I actually, looking back at it, I think it was a better thing. Not necessarily education wise. I didn't actually have to redo it. I just did because I wanted to understand the work better. So I still passed, but still felt like I missed out on half of that entire year. So we recommended to redo the year, which I did do. And it was a ball ache. It was an extra year that I didn't necessarily have to do, but it helped me make a lot of the friends and memories that I have today. So looking back at it, I'm actually really happy about it. Going on into later high school, I always wanted to follow my dad's footsteps. My dad being an airline pilot, um, and he always seemed to have this like freaking rock star life. He seemed to be the coolest person on the planet. Really happy with his job and just generally having a good time. I didn't see him much. Bear in mind him living in Cape Town, me living in Joburg, and him being an airline pilot. It didn't make it easy for me to go and visit him and spend time because he was always working. Airline pilots have quite a busy schedule. And me not being old enough to look after myself, I couldn't like just stay there while he was going away on work. I mean, that's the life of an airline pilot. They spend a few days at home and they spend a few days away from home, depending on where they're flying to, what they're doing. So I always wanted to be a pilot because it seemed really cool. You fly, you explore, you have a good time. It just seems like something fun. Anyways, COVID came along and it hit really hard and it absolutely destroyed the airline industry. And immediately,
my stepdad actually worked for I think nearly 40 years at SAA Technical. So yeah, I'm very familiar with the kind of how the industry functions from that perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So the shutdown happens. Then what? Did you go stay with your dad because he was now available, or what? What was the
no? So I mean, they were still flying. There were still flights happening. A lot of SAA pilots got given a package to leave. It was kind of like a retirement package.
Yeah.
Depending on how long they had worked.
Retrenchment
for
kind of vibe.
Yeah. Kind of. But it was actually really nice for a lot of the pilots. A lot of them ended up getting a lot more than they were gonna get. I mean, that's kind of going away from the point though. My dad also got really lucky. He didn't get given that package, but he got given a bigger package because he had failed his most recent medical exam. Which basically meant he was not fit to fly anymore because he had a heart attack and a whole bunch of other anxiety issues.
You guys are just a barrel of fun with all the medical stuff, dude.
It's ridiculous.
It went well.
So luckily for him, perfectly timed, he received a medical package, a medically boarded package, which basically meant he was still employed by SAA, receiving his salary. But they weren't retrenching him or taking him. They basically put him onto their medical plan that is required of them for pilots that match that criteria.
Yeah, so like a disability really package in a way, right?
Yeah, it is a disability package. So he got really lucky with that. So he didn't end up receiving less of a package or anything like a lot of the other pilots did. So it really did destroy the airline in a way because they got rid of a lot of employees and people that they kind of needed. I mean, being a South African and everything and wanting to go the route that I wanted to go, that was a big eye-opener. It was kind of like, okay, I might need to focus on something else, a backup plan, instead of going straight into flying. So my idea, I wanted to finish school and join the Air Force. Not the South African Air Force because, well, we all know where that is.
What Air Force then?
Exactly.
The only air they're forcing is out their asses. # just saying, dude.
Yeah, it's horrible. So I wanted to go to either the Australian Air Force or the Royal Air Force in Britain. I do have those opportunities because I am luckily a New Zealand citizen.
Okay.
So I've got a New Zealand passport, and I'm able to join the RAF as a Commonwealth citizen, or go to the Australian Air Force, which was my initial plan. But then, because of the way COVID hit and completely screwed up international travel, and just the airline industry in general, it made it kind of a no-brainer to look for a backup plan, which I then had no idea what to do. So my mom organized a aptitude professor to run a couple of tests. I did an aptitude test. I sat down for a while with this guy, and we were kind of able to pinpoint what would work best for my brain. Me being someone who needs a little bit of a challenge to stay entertained or focused on something. Otherwise, I get bored quickly. If it's too easy, if something's too easy for you, you get bored of it quickly. It's kind of like playing a video game and cheating everything into your inventory, but then having nothing to work for, having nothing to work towards because you've got everything. So we did the aptitude test, and basically I was told to go in the direction of either medicine or engineering.
Okay.
And I could never see myself doing medicine. I'm going to be honest. It doesn't seem like something that I'd be interested in. Also, my initial thought was, okay, cool, engineering. That's exactly what I'm going to do. But I didn't have the exact marks I needed to get straight into engineering. So I decided to go for a extended degree in it.
The 5-year for the base degree for the bachelor's.
5-year electrical engineering degree.
Okay.
And
then calculus happened, right?
Yeah.
Because screw calculus, dude. I did BSc as well, and it can take a hike. That is not maths.
As soon as I loved my math and physics modules until they decided to bring math calculus and take it into physics, and that's kind of when I decided, okay, no, I'm done. I'm happy where I am.
No.
Anyway, so during my second year, I absolutely hated it. I was living in Cape Town with my dad. And just wasn't enjoying it at all. It didn't seem like something that I wanted to do. And I just asked if I could focus on something else, and that being the streaming. Give the streaming a shot, pass my second year, and carry on with it later if I wanted to. Just give something else a shot. Try focus on myself for a bit. And that's kind of exactly what I did. It was really hard to convince my dad to allow me to do. I didn't really manage to convince him. I kind of just forced it. I really wanted to do what I wanted to do. So I made it happen. So at the end of 2023, I decided I was done with the engineering. And I was going to give the streaming a shot. I started streaming a lot more during that December, but ultimately started a proper schedule of streaming in February last year.
Yeah, so 1 year, 3 months basically is where you're at now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Officially, like I've been an affiliate streamer since almost 2 years ago, but I've been streaming consistently since February. I think before then I may have streamed a total of like 10 to 20 times.
Okay.
So not a lot.
Yeah.
But by then I'd made some really, really awesome friends. Like there were a few communities that I'd been a part of. I think the first proper community that I got myself into, that I interacted a lot with, was Dead RX's community. But you won't believe this: the first South African streamer that I spent time a part of their community and interacting with was Latches.
Okay.
Quite a while ago.
Sorry, I was gonna throw that out there.
So he was the first South African streamer that I kind of really knew about, which then led me into finding out about people like Dead RX and Henrico. But anyways, I got myself into Dead RX's community, and I had made friends with the likes of Tato Beans and Slimy Moose and people like that, and spent a lot of time with them.
So
And
you
that's
meet Slimy through Dead Oryx's stream?
yes, I believe Slimy and I first interacted with each other sometime in 2023, late 2023, through one of Dead Oryx's streams that he was doing. He was doing a Lethal Company stream where everyone could join.
Okay.
And that's the first experience I ever had with Slimy Moose. And then afterwards had a couple more interactions with her when we did the same kind of thing with Tato Beans and some other people that I don't want to mention.
That I don't want to mention.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
So that's
Layla?
how.
Sorry,
So I mean, I'll get into that. I'll get into that as soon as I can, just before I forget about all this other stuff. So yeah, that's how Slimy and I became really good friends. We hung out a lot from then, and we then decided around the same time to start trying to take the streaming more seriously. So we both, I mean, you'll notice that both of us kind of started streaming consistently together at the same time. And that's why we've kind of managed to build community together. We still have our own separate communities, but a lot of it is merged together. And we have spent a lot of our streaming career together.
because I assumed you
Um,
guys, just based on your chemistry and how you interact with each other, I had assumed that you guys were like friends from high school kind of vibe.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of people assume that, which I mean is completely valid. I completely understand why some people feel that way. But yeah, we just clicked. We got along really well. We spent a lot of late nights talking and telling each other about our experiences in life and our backstories and all of that. And yeah, we just became really close. Shortly afterwards, I mean, so I started streaming consistently in February, and I butted heads with my dad a lot over it. He wasn't seeing any income from it. He also being a quite in the older group, older age group, old school South African. He didn't understand it at all, and didn't really like what he was seeing. So him and I butted heads a lot. It was very back and forth with me trying to prove to him, okay, this is the progress that I'm making. This is how I can make money from this kind of thing. Going into all of that logistical stuff that it's never easy to speak about with your parents, especially when they want to see you successful and stuff. Which has changed a lot now. That whole view has completely changed now. I mean, they're seeing a completely different side of where I'm able to take this and what I have already done with it, and where I am at the moment. So it has turned out for the better. Anyways, so because of my dad and I butting heads so much, I eventually decided to move back to Joburg, back in with my mom in Roodepoort. Which was a better move. I was able to focus more on a schedule and stick to it instead of having to, lean hand and foot on my dad and constantly be there to do the stuff that he needed me to do. There was kind of there was a big misunderstanding of him realizing that streaming, if you take it seriously, is something that you have to commit time to, and you can't be bothered to do a whole bunch of different stuff at the same time. You're sitting in a camera, you're expected to entertain, be there, and be the streamer.
Yeah.
So the move made a lot of sense, and it helped a lot, to be honest. I mean, who wants to leave Cape Town in the first place? Cape Town's a beautiful city. I think anyone in South Africa would prefer to stay there.
Breathable
But
air,
in terms of
no
oh yeah,
potholes,
yeah.
Working infrastructure, low unemployment rate. Let me just stop.
Yeah.
This is the tip of the iceberg with the Republic of DA, really.
Yeah. So like moving forward with the streaming career, that was just the better decision for myself to make, which I did, and because of that, I ended up being closer to people like Slimy. Actually, right around the block. To be honest, we lived 5 minutes away from each other. So that improved our friendship. We were able to do a lot more together, and I mean, now her and I are IRL friends. We actively go and do things over the weekend.
Well, you
And
did that land stream as well, which was so
oh yes,
awesome. That's one of my
the
favorite, like, South African streams, because you both had cameras set up with each other. Like, so if I had both streams next to each other, it was like having 4 camera angles, because
yeah,
hers was capturing herself with you in the background, and yours was capturing you with her in the background.
yeah.
And it was a vibe. Like, landing used to be my absolute favorite thing as a kid. So that just, you did well in my books on that one.
Well, I mean, we obviously want to do stuff like that more. It's just more about, I mean, with Leila and I moving in together recently, we're still trying to make this place a home. So we would like, that's my plan for my content and my channel. I want to do more things like that where Slimy and I can LAN, or I want to get more involved in the IRL stuff. For
Well,
example,
like Brian
podcasts
with
and
Henrica as well, dude.
yeah.
That was quite funny.
I
I
feel
won't
like
lie.
that was a fun stream. But yeah, that's kind of the route that I took. Moved to Joburg, started streaming more consistently, stuck to a schedule, started every day at the same time. Unlike now, right now I've been all over the place at the moment, especially with everything going on. Life has been crazy at the moment, but yeah, got into a schedule and the channel grew. And it grew a lot quicker than I thought it would. Also, the income from it was a lot more than I expected it to be. I think I've been very lucky. I've had a very supportive community that has been willing to support the channel and keep it, sustained. So I've been really lucky in that regard. Anyways, so moving on to how I met Layla. We met, believe it or not, online. It's crazy how many people in my life right now are people that I've just met online and then just gotten closer to. I mean, your people always said you don't trust strangers online.
On the internet,
Yeah, don't trust strangers on the internet. You're never gonna turn out well for you.
Especially a bunch of old dudes from Tarkov telling you how to set up your stream.
I mean, it's worked great so far, so I honestly cannot complain. Anyway, so Layla and I met through GTA RP. That was our first interaction together, where I randomly joined a GTA RP server to go around and just play. I didn't even want to stream it. I didn't want to. I just wanted to play RP again because I used to do a bit of it back in the day and quite enjoyed it. So got into another one and actually met a couple people from some of the previous servers that I'd been on. And then you Layla. So just hanging out with them more and more, Layla and I became comfortable with each other and became friends, and started interacting more. And I believe at that time, Layla was trying out the TikTok streaming. And
dude,
I
the fact she
kind of,
streams on that PC is nothing short of heroic. I think we just want
dude,
to throw that in there. Like, brother, she told me a spec yesterday. I was,
it's bad. I think it's like
shame.
an RX 5500.
Dude, a
running a Ryzen 5
1600X.
1600.
That's a 7-year-old CPU now.
Yeah,
man.
that's the CPU I was running before I upgraded my PC, and I couldn't even stream the games that I wanted to stream with that setup. Absolutely horrible. Yeah, I mean, hands to Layla for making it work somehow. I mean, yeah, shame. I did say to her that we need to try and organize an upgrade for her system.
No, I'm making plans. Don't worry. I got a nice CPU coming back from another loan out borrow mission. So we'll chat on this line. If you know what I mean.
Okay. That's very much appreciated. Yeah. So yeah, we met through the RP and then got close together. I was telling her about the Twitch streaming, and I wanted to kind of help her get involved in that. But there was a lot of I mean, it happened. She is now on Twitch. But yeah, there's actually a lot of I'm trying to think exactly how that happened. We just ended up becoming close friends. Just
clearly,
spending time.
Now you're living together. There's nothing closer than, hey, let's share a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we spent a lot of time together and became close friends. I don't mind mentioning this because it did happen. There was a stage last year where we went through a little bit of relationship, but it didn't exactly work out, and we just decided to be friends.
Mm.
Um,
It was
which
height differences, right? That's what it ultimately
oh
boiled down
yeah,
to.
100%, 100%. I
Because you're quite
mean, me
tall.
being yeah,
I noticed with
I think.
Henny, like, and she's
Well, Henny,
tiny.
I thought Henny was gonna be taller. I honestly thought that Henny was gonna be a lot taller than he is. But yeah, Lele is very tiny. She likes to say that she's 5 foot, but but ultimately, I don't think that that's exactly true. I mean, we'll
She's
see one
five
day.
foot
One day
one,
we'll
actually.
5'1".
Because
Yeah.
my mom's 150 centimeter on the dot, and that's
Oh,
exactly
okay.
5 foot. So, and
Yeah, but the
Layla's
thing is, we haven't
154.
measured. We
No,
haven't measured. She's really short.
she said she's 154, bro. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. When you're
Yeah.
already in Hobbit land, every centimeter counts. That's all I know, dude. Like,
I
but
feel like no matter who you are, like every centimeter counts. Like even if you're like 6'8", people want to know exactly how tall they are.
no, dude. I think after 6 foot, it's all just like, okay, you're tall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're catching bugs up there. You live in a different, weather pattern and all the rest of it. So, because
Yeah.
how tall are you exactly? Do you know how tall you are in centimeters?
The last measurement I took was 186.
Oh damn, you're 3 centimeters
Yeah.
taller than I am. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So you're on the tall end. That's
Yeah.
basically 6'1" and change.
Yeah.
Because 6 foot's 183. Actually, a lot of people think it's 180, but it's not. It's actually 183.
That's 183.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, okay. So damn it, you're taller than me. We can't be friends anymore. It's just one of those things. Dude. So okay. So situationship is what it is. But stayed friends, great for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. But it's so.
How
I
did
want to
we?
tell
You want to
you.
know how we ended up moving in together?
Okay, go with that. Go with that.
Go with that. Okay, so we being friends and all. I know that she's been looking for a place to like move out from where she was, and I desperately did not want to live with my parents either. I kind of wanted to get on with my own life and stuff like that. And we kind of got into that conversation talking about moving to different places, and spontaneously decided, okay, how about we toy around with this roommate idea, which I mean that's exactly what we did. We started looking around for places, just seeing what possibilities there would be, where would be a nice place for us, until we just kept on going with the plans and carrying on and making everything kind of happen. And we did just we went on with all the planning until it got to the point where we just moved in with each other.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, obviously there were those thoughts like, okay, are we gonna be able to get along well enough to live with each other? But the only way you see is by trying. And so far everything has been as smooth as it could possibly been. We give each other the space that the other person needs, and it just works. There's not much else that I can say about it. It just works.
Do you guys share a shower? Like, do you have only
Yeah.
one shower? So some of the plug monsters that you've pulled out of there, like those creatures, bro, that are just there on the floor, like kind of vibe. Do you want to talk about it, or shall we just pretend like it didn't happen?
Thankfully, Layla is a very considerate roommate.
Okay.
So she
She's the most
definitely
organized between the three of you. I'll give her that.
100%.
100%. Like, there's no question.
She knows what's going on with her life already. She knows what direction she wants to go. I'm just going with the flow. So we balance each other out a bit there.
Okay. What is your favorite game of all time? That's it. This is the
Sure.
judgment section.
So that's such a difficult question for me to answer because there are so many games that I have spent ridiculous amounts of hours on, and made so many memories on, that it's such your favorite game of all
Not
time.
Valorant. Not
No,
Valorant.
no, it's not even. It's
Okay.
not there. It's not there.
Okay.
It's definitely not there.
That's the next dodge. We
Shit.
can still be friends now.
So if I have to say competitive, can
No,
I
just
can I,
your favorite, bro. Just your
favorite
favorite. What is your favorite game of all time?
that I think I have to give it to I can't. Okay, listen, it's not my favorite game anymore, so I can't say that. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there and say Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, okay.
Elden Ring. It has to be. It has to be like just the effort that was put in from all the studios and the developers for that game. It is an immersive masterpiece.
It is
It's
very, very pretty and very, very involved. I'll
yeah.
give it that. Like, I'm not a
Have
big
you played
Souls
through
guy.
it?
No. I'm not. The one, I would say, area of my time as an old timey gamer is like Souls-like games. I haven't really ever gotten into them much. The closest I've gotten is probably God of War to that kind of thing. So not really at all.
The newer God of Wars are, I think they're going in that direction a little bit, but
It's not the
I've
same.
never
It's not
been.
the same though.
No, it's definitely not the
It's
same.
not the same.
I've had so many conversations as a streamer with people in chat trying to compare God of War and Elden Ring. You can't really compare the two games. I think they're both really good in their own manners.
You can, but it's like comparing. It's like comparing, like, a microwave lasagna to something that's been made in an Italian restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, kind of quality of
both
and
are really amazing games, but amazing in different ways. What I really enjoyed about Elden Ring is it doesn't tell you what to do. It doesn't tell you what direction to go in. It puts you in the game and gives you an objective to become Elden Lord. The route that you take to go and get there is up to you. Eventually, like, there is a mainstream route to go, which you eventually lead yourself onto. But that's the thing; it throws you in with not a lot of direction. The game itself is huge. The mechanics are amazing. The setting is beautiful. It's just one of those games that if I had to recommend a game to absolutely everybody to play, it would be Elden Ring, because a lot of it is very challenging, and a lot of people don't carry on playing Elden Ring because it's too challenging to play. But if you can push through that, like, I would 100% recommend it to everybody. Just push yourself, because you might hate it at first, but it's going to become one of those things like, oh my god, that took me over 50 tries to kill that boss. I just did it. I can do anything.
Yeah, the
just wait until you spend 11 hours.
Yeah.
Just wait till you spend 11 hours on one boss, and you're like,
we won't talk about the death counter. We won't talk about.
Oh my god,
dude, that's the thing for me, is the patience in that, and because I was raised in the sort of entry era to multiplayer, and unlike online multiplayer was like, we were scrambling for it, like. I grew up when, like, a big internet line was 64 kilobits ISDN, okay, and that was like, you're rich, bro. You're not doing dial-up. You've got your own little box on the wall and kind of vibe. Like, that was like real wealth.
Yeah. No, so, I'm lucky that I didn't have to deal with a lot of that. I mean, here's the thing. I only got into gaming and stuff. I feel pretty late for compared to everybody else. I mean, a lot of the friends I had, they had Xboxes and stuff from really, okay. Saying that's not true, because we had a PlayStation 2 from the second I can remember. We had a lot of stuff like that, but there wasn't a lot of time spent on that because, well, initially we grew up on the farm, and our family was just very active. We were doing a whole bunch of stuff, so there wasn't a lot of time for games.
But you're not a wrangler pig then?
Oh no, we're not that kind of farm.
Damn
it. We had boron cattle and dairy cattle.
We were so close to glory with you, Carlo. That was like you and Krim were he was about to take you to the Vrystaat and slag a scarp over there.
Yeah.
I'm a bit sad.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm also, just on an interjection point, I'm very surprised you didn't say Call of Duty, because it seems like your FPS, I would say, is COD, having played with you and stuff like.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time playing Call of Duty. I think that was the first competitive game that I ever got into. I think it was like, I must have been like 10 years old or something, and I played Modern Warfare 3 on the family desktop. Yeah, it's wild to think that I mean, you were way older when Modern Warfare 3 came out. I think it came out in like 2011, right?
Bro,
2011.
I was your age when Modern Warfare 3 was launched, basically. It, like,
There we
because I'm
go.
old.
There we
But yeah, anyway.
ridiculous. But
Godfall is
yeah,
the best, though. Hashtag just saying. Like, of the CODs I
oh,
played, like,
the
and
first one,
2019. Like, didn't you feel like 2019 was like a really
it was
good
really good.
COD? And then they just were
2019
like,
is the best release that they've had since Black Ops 2.
yeah, dude.
So that being said, Black Ops 6 multiplayer and zombies experience is the best COD experience I've had since 2019 Modern Warfare and Black Ops 2. So it's up there. It was really good. I was really happy with the latest stuff. But moving back, so Modern Warfare 3 was the first Call of Duty that I played online. Um, which got me into that kind of gaming. I really enjoyed it and I wanted to do it more. So I remember begging to have a Xbox, something that could play it properly, and so that I could play it with friends. And I had friends that had Xbox and stuff, which I would often go to their house, and we would play Modern Warfare 2 or just the standard Modern Warfare, the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Um,
Oh,
and
classic.
yeah, I then had another friend who had a double desktop setup in their office, which I would often go over to, and we would play the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, but we would jump onto the dedicated servers, the sniper only servers and stuff like that, and just spend endless hours playing that. So yeah, I spent a lot of time playing Call of Duty, doing the whole LAN thing and playing those older, more original Call of Duty games. It definitely was where my gaming started, but eventually we finally got an Xbox. I was 12, 13 at the time, um, which I feel was quite late compared to all the other friends and stuff that I had. So it took us quite a while to get something upgraded that could play most of the games that were coming out.
And had a proper
So I went
online
through,
multiplayer because PS2 was like
yeah,
really, really limited in the games that
yeah.
you could play online.
Oh yeah. So there was quite a lot of my time spent not playing games, and I guess I just focused more on sports and outdoor activities back then. Wasn't the iPad kid or anything like that.
What's your favorite sport?
Um,
Or what was your sport? What was your thing?
hockey and tennis.
My
Hockey and
man,
tennis.
my man. I'm
Those
also
those
an
those were
ex-hockey
my.
player.
Hey, so yeah, I played a lot of hockey and tennis growing up. Hockey, I was a Southerns player, so I played for Joburg South. And tennis I played district up until Gauteng tennis. So I got into Gauteng
Okay.
tennis, and then COVID happened.
So you're
So
like
I
good,
played a lot
good.
of I played a lot of hockey and tennis. So they were my favorite sports to be involved in. I went everywhere. My dad always used to say to me, I'm a jack of all trades but a master of none, because I would always get bored of something and move on to the next thing.
I don't know if I would say Southerns makes you a jack of all trades. I'll be honest. I think that's
Yeah,
a
that was
little
pretty
bit better than a
difficult.
jack. Like,
Yeah, that was pretty difficult to get into. I played my preferred position was either center or left link, and then I would occasionally play forward. But for Southerns, I played left link.
okay.
Yeah.
I was a sweeper because I was the only one that was brave enough to take first wave on the short corners.
Oh, okay.
And I actually got
I mean, that
carded.
shit's scary, dude.
Bro, I got carded because the one game I noticed the guy that was taking the hits was a bit skittish, and I
Oh
ran
yeah.
out going ah kind of vibe, and he was maybe like 5'5", like 160, 165
Oh
centimeter
no.
tall, and I was already at 15. I was 1'7", not no at 14 I was 178 centimeters tall, so I grew really early. So if you looked at me
You're a
in
lucky
grade
guy.
9 and 10, I was one of the tallest kids in the grade. And then after that, I just kind of became like average, kind of tall,
Mm.
vibe. But at that point, I looked like a man, like compared to the other people.
Well, that's the thing. So for me, it's the complete opposite experience. I was the smallest guy throughout high school up until I was 17, and then all of a sudden I hit 17 and just shot up. Don't know
Okay.
what happened. I went from being a head shorter than all of my friends to being taller than every single one of them,
The
other
mom
than
got that
like one or two.
fertilizer in the shoes, and
I,
it
did,
just.
I don't know what happened. I mean, my uncle had the same experience. He was, the late bloomer, and that's exactly what I was. I couldn't grow any facial hair until I was 18. I did not have to shave at school until I was in grade 11 and matric. It
I
was
never had to shave in school. I didn't have a beard until I was in my early 20s, which is the funny
what?
part. Like I
Okay,
couldn't grow. All of this is only from about 25, I would say, is where it kind of
okay,
like came in. That mustache you've got there is more than I had until like about 22, 23, dude. Like no
yo.
joke. So yeah.
I mean, this I haven't touched the mustache. Earlier, I actually shaved my beard earlier. I've been growing it for about a month, and it was looking like pretty full. I was really happy with it, but I decided like I get irritated having the
Yeah, I
facial
don't
hair.
like the
It gets
sides.
itchy,
I don't
and
like the sides either.
yeah,
And
it gets.
do you get like horrible neck beard like this, like
Oh
high
yeah,
school drama teacher neck beard? Okay, there we go.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, we both sat
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I get that as well, but I clean that up as soon as it starts coming out. I take the electric razor and get that off. So now I'm trying to grow a full mustache, but I've got a table tennis mustache. 2 week players on either side.
Do you
It's
know?
not working for me.
Do you know? It's getting there. It's better than a dirty smudge. At least you can actually see it's a
Yeah.
mustache. It's not like completely bad. But you know who I'm actually kind of jealous of? I think they've got the best stash around is Campsies,
Yeah.
especially when he did the handlebars, bro.
What, dude? I
He
feel
had
like
such a
here's the thing.
banger handlebar mustache, bro.
He's got the look for it as well, though. He's
He
got the look
does.
for it, so it works.
Cam,
And I think he's got that
he-
that lucky that lucky hair growth.
And you know those American like stupidly over big glasses, like
Oh
those
yeah,
big flat ones. He wore those
yeah.
the one day with that, and I was like, "It's Hulk Hogan South African edition." Dude, it's
He's
just
also a
so
pretty
good,
big
dude.
guy, so it works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cam is thick. He's like
yeah.
like I mean like not like he's thick, but like every like
He's
he's stocky. He's a stocky gent.
yeah,
Like
yeah. He spends a good amount of time in the gym.
no, yeah, you can definitely see it. I just wish he would rock it all the time, but I think his missus will actually kill him. So
Yeah.
that's a fair one to move away from. Okay, so if console, FPS, gaming and stuff, when did you get your first like gaming PC?
So I'd always grown up with a like I'd always stick to a console. We got the Xbox when I was like 12, 13, and then soon afterwards the Xbox One came out, and that's all I could think of. Like, I just really wanted an Xbox One.
Hmm.
So I saved up, I did a whole bunch of stuff, and eventually my dad helped me buy myself an Xbox One. Um, which I then started playing. I started playing Destiny on. The first Destiny game, absolutely. I think if I think of all the games that I've played the most, Destiny takes the number one spot. When you asked me what my favorite game was, I thought of that, but it's not my favorite anymore.
Hmm.
I practically like that was the game that I stuck to. I played a crap ton of Destiny. It was online, everything was online, but it was fun. I played it with my uncle, and we made a lot of really good memories playing that game because there's so much content to go through, and it is just one of those games that you can constantly grind. You go to school, get home from school after sport, hop onto the game, and just play, have a good time. So I spent a couple of years doing that, and then eventually I fell into the whole like Twitch watching thing, like watching people on Twitch, and discovered people like Shroud,
Shrimp,
who
shrimp.
yeah. Also, having that friend that had the dual PC setup, I'd still go to his house quite often, and eventually he hopped onto the PUBG grind, which
Okay.
I hopped onto that with him, and really really freaking enjoyed it. And that's what set the spark off for me in wanting a PC, because initially PUBG wasn't released on console, and it wasn't for quite a while.
And the PC multiplayer is just better, dude. Like in
Oh yeah,
general, like it's
oh
just
yeah,
it's just way better.
way freaking better. So that's kind of where it lit that spark. I was about 15 at the time. Um, and I also fell in love with Shroud and his content. I mean, he basically blew up because of not just Counter-Strike, but mostly because of PUBG. He dominated that market.
When PUBG was absolutely like the biggest thing on Twitch, he was the biggest streamer for it, like by a country mile.
Yeah. I think he was the biggest streamer / content creator at the time because of PUBG and just how that game had completely taken over the market. Anyways, I started investing in getting a computer to play games like that. And then Fortnite came out in I think it was 2017, 2018, 15, 16. And I'd played a bit of it on my Xbox.
Fortnite.
And
sorry.
Absolutely got sick of using a controller. All I wanted was a freaking mouse and keyboard.
Just give me a mouse, please, so I can make small adjustments, please.
So I once again saved up and got helped by my dad to buy a desktop, which I bought all the components from EveTech.
Okay.
Went and picked it up and built it at home by myself.
Oh, nice.
First time ever built. Followed YouTube tutorials and I built it myself. Bear in mind, I had to do a whole bunch of research. I basically had to make a PowerPoint to show to my dad that I knew what every component, what every piece of hardware that goes into a desktop is for.
It's good parenting.
So I had to understand practically everything. Sorry for the swearing. I'm sure that'll get edited out.
No, it's going raw, bro. We go raw. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. So I'm going. I had to pretty much know exactly what I was doing before I could get it. So yeah, that made building it a lot better. I was really careful with it. I did all the things that you're supposed to do. Made sure that I wasn't building up too much static electricity or anything to
look.
Blow.
That's a really old problem, and it's from when I started as a child.
Yeah.
And dude, when I started on PCs, there were no like keys, like you know, like the little notches that you have for connections. That was rare, and I mean, maybe 1 out of 10 connections, bro.
I spent hours trying to figure out how to properly set up the power on switch and everything on the motherboard. You know how it's got the
little jumper. Yeah.
That took me so freaking long to sort out properly, but eventually got it done. And it was a surreal experience. You know, when you get something and you can't believe that you've managed to get that thing for yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
Like just one of those experiences, like I actually can't believe I have this. That's exactly how I felt once I had booted up the computer for the first time. And I remember that feeling lasting a couple of days. The first games I installed were PUBG, CS:GO, and Fortnite, and obviously hopped onto that train and fell in love. Played a shit ton of CS. I think.
Why don't you play Counter-Strike with me? Because you hate me. It's fine.
It's CS2. It's so bad now. Like Valorant is a better game at the moment.
Just okay.
Listen.
Just hold up. No. Hold up. Yep. Let's just go through this step by step, brother. CS2 still has way better gunplay than Valo.
Yeah.
Valo's movement and CS's movement, I would say, are equally bad. I would say Valo is slightly better.
Valo's movement is so much better than CS's now.
No, but
CS's movement
when you
makes me
walk,
die.
No, bro. When you walk in Valo, it feels like I'm wading through like a chocolate cake or something. My dude's
okay. I can understand that. That's the thing. Here's the thing. I think that if CS:GO was still available, CS2 would die, and Valorant wouldn't have as much popularity.
But that's why they did it,
now.
right? That's literally why they took away CS:GO, because exactly the same thing happened with Source in 1.6, and there was like this awkward in-between phase where one tournament was Source and the other one was 1.6.
Yeah.
That's exactly why Valve just avoided the whole conversation.
I think that CS2 was a mistake. I think that they could have improved certain things, but they changed too much. Like they could have done the whole graphics and smokes and all of that, but the changes they made to movement and everything else wasn't necessary.
I like
it's
that
kind of
the
like
recoil is harder though. I'll say that. I think in Go,
okay.
like especially with the automatics, it was just too easy to spray. I felt, especially with like AK. I like the change that it's the same pattern. It's just harder to pull off. You've got to pull down more. You know, it runs left and right more, kind of thing. But yeah, I have to agree with you that it feels really good now. Just what is anti-cheat? There's no such thing, dude. Like
there's no such thing as anti. That's another reason I won't get into CS is because Valve's anti cheat doesn't exist. Valorant's anti cheat literally will catch you no matter what you try. Valorant's anti cheat is a virus on your computer. It's actually so bad and so intrusive, but it works. It's eradicated cheating in Valorant. You can't cheat. You
Well, you
can for a
can,
little
but
bit,
it's
but you
like
get caught.
huge effort, and yeah, if you get
Yeah,
caught,
but
that's
the
rip
thing is,
PC.
they're also it's RIP PC. They're also putting in so many like the most recent change, which I'm really happy about, which isn't the point of the podcast, but they're now putting in a thing to stop or to combat smurfers and people boosting other people's accounts. So what they're implementing now is they are going to your main account, the account that you play on, your computer's going to recognize that, or Valorant's going to recognize that on your IP. If you then switch to another account on a completely different rank, it's going to ban you.
That's wild, though. That is a crazy change.
So there's no more smurfing, no more account borrowing, nothing.
Yeah, but so as someone that's worked doing tournament hosting, I have a secondary account which has got Prime CS on it, and hours in
I've got
Dota.
a secondary account as well.
But I have to have that for doing observing. And if I'm because you want to have the game PC feed the other PC, you don't want to be doing everything on one computer because you need someone to have professional obs and stuff being done on that other machine anyway. If they read that I'm doing it from the same IP, that's RIP to both accounts. It does have inherent flaws. I think they need to work it back off of the TPM module, and then the tournament hosts and stuff just need to be really careful. Like
I think that Riot's pretty smart. I think they'll figure out a way to
Riot is not smart. They are not smart, dude. Their business model for League of Legends was so bad. It was based on perpetual growth, and then they capped, and it just fell apart. Like dude, they had 45 million players.
I'd like to
at one point, and it died. No, they don't. I can show you the evidence.
Compared to Valve, I'd like to.
Dude, so here's the thing with Valve, because Steam
moving on.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, fine. Steam wins as a platform though. For hosting content, it wins by a country mile. Sure. Yes, let's get back to who is Carlo. Okay, so Valorant aside and all that sort of stuff, then you streaming stuff, you making mates with guys like Henny, who I love to bits, and I can't stop teasing the man. He's just got the best reactions.
He's a big teddy bear, man.
He's up next as well. He's going to be the next one.
I can't wait to see his.
I think it's going to be really interesting. But something I forgot to ask Layla that I'm curious with you. Are you a bit of a weeb?
Not until recently. The first anime that I watched was
Dragon Ball
which
Z.
I'm still busy with. No.
Okay.
Well,
everybody.
I guess so.
SABC 2, baby.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even include that as my like what I've watched as an anime. But like going full on into anime, I really enjoy it now. So I will call myself a bit of a weeb.
Do you read subtitles or do you watch dubbed?
I watch dubbed.
End of an interview, I'm at it.
It depends. If it's not seamless,
so bad, dude.
If it's not seamless, I will read. But if it's like if you can't really notice the difference, then it's fun. Anyways, getting into what my first proper anime was, which I'm still busy with, is Jujutsu Kaisen.
My boy.
Which
that's a goodie.
absolutely freaking loving. I've watched it in dubbed, but you can't really notice the difference between the Japanese and the English. I don't see it.
Dude, no. Now we're gonna have fighting words, okay? Because the thing with dubbed is
What are you gonna watch DMC in because it was made in English?
no, but they
Devil May
made
Cry.
yeah, but that's fine. If it's made for English, it's fine. But it's when it's made for Japanese, there are idiosyncrasies about their culture that are intertwined into anime.
Yeah.
So I've watched, bro, probably in the region of like 70, 80 shows. I've forgotten. I've watched
Oh, yeah.
so much anime. Okay, I have a top
Okay.
15, and it's hotly contested. Sort of like
Mm.
I'm a big weeb as far as that sort of stuff goes.
Okay.
Jujutsu Kaisen has been crept into my top 3, and I didn't expect it to
Okay.
be as good as it was, and it slapped. And
I freaking love it.
bro, it's honestly so good. And obviously your favorite is Todo because you're a man of quality and you like, who's your favorite waifu from the show? Let me hit you with that.
I feel like I have to go with Mei Mei. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a good either Mei Mei or I don't want to go with the standard answer.
No, but go with your gut. Don't go with like other
I go with Mei
people's
Mei.
approval.
I go with Mei Mei. She's like someone that you don't see a lot, but she just seems so badass in everything that she's involved in.
Okay.
But I think there's also something going on between her and Gojo.
Yeah, that is very insightful because I got the same vibes, especially with the Shibuya incident. I don't know how far you are. I don't want to ruin.
I'm on like episode. So I'm on season 2, but I think it's marked as episode 31. So I've seen the movie, the JJK movie, the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero or whatever,
Yes.
where they tell you about Yuta.
Yes.
Or they do Yuta story, and then afterwards at the beginning of season 2, they kind of have a background story for Gojo and Geto.
Yes. Yes.
And then so like I saw the whole attack in the movie, and then in the beginning of season 2, like there was the whole reason as to why everything's happening now and why Geto feels the way he does about people that aren't sorcerers or whatever. So I've just gotten, I think the episode I'm on now, they've returned to Yuji's story.
Okay.
Or they've returned to active time. So I've still got quite a bit of season 2 to get through.
Okay. But look, as a good place to start, I'll make you some suggestions and stuff. I can give you a list, and you can. It's quite funny.
What
you
happened?
can go watch it. You don't want to watch it, but it's a good list.
I'll watch it. What was done for me is because I haven't gotten into anime. Callum FPS. So he's the one that actually said to me, you have to do this. So he gave me a Crunchyroll account, which he then went and got put a whole bunch of things on the watch list, and then gave me the account. Was like, go and watch. Just go and watch it.
It's, you know what's sad is Crunchy's catalog has gotten kind of meh, honestly, over time.
Oh yeah.
There are some good ones on there, but yeah. Anyway, let's carry on. Let's get to the real meat and potatoes of the situation. So, in your time interacting with the gaming community, what would you say is the best thing about ZA Gaming as someone who's been, kind of interconnected, let's say for 2 years, right? That would be like a feasible amount of time, right?
I think it's my favorite and least favorite thing is everybody knows everyone because the community is quite small.
Yes.
Everyone knows everyone. I mean, Kylo quickly became known across the entire community pretty quickly. I mean, everyone does just know everyone, and it makes it easy to connect with people and form new friendships or collaborate with people. So it can be a really nice thing. The other thing that I don't like about it is everybody's all up in your business. Everyone wants to know everything that's going on in your life, and if there's a whiff of drama, everyone jumps on that.
Oh, dude,
Which,
it's like blood in the water and the sharks are circling, dude. 110%.
That's what really irritates me about it. That's the one thing that I don't like, but I like the there's definitely some fake people out there. Like, I'm not gonna go too far or like too much into description.
let's
We
not
won't mention
slander.
any
No, for
names.
sure.
No slander, but there's 100% fake people out there. But I've got a good eye for that kind of thing. But then there's also a really, really amazing couple people that I absolutely adore. Some people in the community that just are there for everybody else, and there's just absolutely no bad things that I could think of or even say about them. So some of the community is really close, helpful, connected, and just beautiful. And then obviously there's
There's
the
always snakes
bad
in the
parts
grass,
that,
bro.
yeah.
It's just a reality. If you're gonna walk in long grass, there's gonna be snakes somewhere, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just reality. So, bearing that in mind, you've basically answered. The first was gonna be what's your favorite thing, and then what's your least favorite thing. I think we unnecessarily deal with a lot of identity politics that happens in and amongst
Oh yeah.
the community, considering the size of it. And it was just something I was mentioning to Layla, which was sad to hear from her, was kind of like people not being welcoming, and they go after soft targets. They're gonna go and target the chicks and stuff, like,
dude,
hardcore.
100%. I've experienced that kind of thing. I mean, there are people that have issues with me for absolutely no reason.
Like, I haven't even spoken to you, bro. Like, what's the problem? Is kind of vibe.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
There's some people that I have never interacted with at all, but they've got beef with me. I don't know about it, and like I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It's 100% an envious thing. It's an envious thing. It's people getting upset that someone else is making moves on something and they're not in that position.
yeah.
And that sounds incredibly to say, but it's it's the vibe that's given. That's the only thing that I can come up with that makes sense to me as to why you have something against me for no reason.
I think as well, your demeanor is really good for the space because you're very laid back, and even when you like get frustrated, it's more comedic than like, "Ooh, that's nasty." Like, kind
Dude,
of thing.
I know there are people in my community that purposefully push my buttons to make me lose my shit. There's my exactly. My community just is trolls. It's people coming in to cause cuck with me so that
Why
they
aren't you
can get a
carrying,
reaction
Carlo?
out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a few things that get to me. Like I feel like I have had my blow ups on stream where I've been like, okay, that's a button that you push too far. But I generally try to keep it lighthearted and just a fun
No, I
time.
think you've got a good demeanor in general, bro. And I think the areas that I have seen you get frustrated over have been fair, I would say. There was the one we won't talk about it kind of thing. But I think you've got a good temperament for it. I don't like streaming. People ask me, Wookie, when you're going to stream and stuff, I actually don't like it, playing games, because I was intertwined with a lot of really serious esports people for a very long time. There's a lot of intolerant professional syndrome that I don't necessarily like.
I know
myself.
about that. I know about that whole thing. I mean,
You know what I mean?
I don't want to go into it or talk about it, but I think you know about my Rainbow Six Siege background.
Yeah.
Which I have tried a lot to keep separate from my streaming background. Not because of anything that happened. It's more about that community. I know how connected the competitive communities are and how just how toxic it is.
But you know what you know what it's like as well. I think you'll resonate with this idea, is when you play on such a high level all the time. The guys that I was playing with, I'm square average. Like on the scoreboard, I might be somewhere in the middle towards like middle, or say there's 5 of us or 4 of us, I'll be like second on a good day, but most of the time third and fourth is where I'll kind of come in like we're playing a Battlefield as an example.
Okay.
My one mate is so good. He literally, I genuinely believe this, at one point in BF3 and 4, I think he was one of the best players in the world, like top 5. Statistically, he was top 5. Like we got him on Battlefield 3. We got him to over 100 kills for 0 deaths twice. That's how good
What?
he is.
That's insane.
Dude, we've still got the battle logs. In the one I was involved in where he went 117 for 0 on Metro and BF3, it's still there on the battle logs
That
and
is
stuff.
ridiculous. 100. That is insane. I
No,
think
he's
like
mild,
the
dude.
best I ever got was like 80 without dying.
No, he's mull. So the thing is, when I play with like IRL friends, I have this like expectation because those are my IRL mates.
You need to be the best.
I need to be the best, and it's just competitive, and it actually destroys relationships and friendships.
That is a problem. That is a problem that I've definitely had recently with a lot of the games and stuff that I've been playing. I mean, I am very competitive, and I've always been a very in terms of my playstyle is very aggressive. W key. I'm going to out aim you, and
this is why we're friends.
Yeah.
Because we don't sit in a corner in Tarkov, bro. I mean, like the hashtag just saying.
That's my playstyle, and a lot of a lot of the time it can also be your downfall. But I mean, that's the problems that I've been having with games like Valorant lately is just not performing as well as I want to. And I mean that it creates a bad headspace for your stream, and that's kind of why I've taken a step back on a game like Valorant, is because I do take that game seriously. I do want to be the best. I don't want to show my stream that I'm not the best.
Yeah, no, I feel that, dude. I really do. And being an old dude and the physical stuff starting to catch up with me, I've had a really long career of being a quick, fast boy. So I can't sit and complain and say I'm not blessed. I mean, I'm going to be 36 in August, and I've still been like, look at the face. You can't make that face when I say I'm going to be. What do you think this is, dude?
36.
Yeah, no, okay. We're getting. But you're going to slow down at some point. And I've been really blessed to have such a long time, being, able to.
I don't think you should look at 36 as a thing that's going to knock you down. I think just keep on riding that train as long as you can. Even if you're 80 and you think that
no,
you're
I'm
still
getting
fast,
old, man.
like,
Unless it's like a Battlefield type game, I'm getting old, and I feel it.
But what I have noticed with competitive games, and it's something that Valorant has taught me. Out of all games that I've played competitively, Valorant has taught me that if you do not have a good mindset, if you do not go into a gunfight believing you are going to win, you're most likely going to lose.
Oh yeah, if you think therefore you are.
That mental needs to be there.
But I always think I'm the best, and then I'm not.
So carry on. Like, stop telling yourself that you're getting slower.
No, well, it's fine. On one of the last streams I did for EveTech, we did some Delta Force, and I went 160 for 7. So I was still like,
there we go.
Bully power is still, kind of like, it shows up every so often. But it's time for me to kind of let it go and leave it to younger, faster individuals that are still, in their early 20s.
You say that, but then I tell myself, God, I'm already turning 23. Like,
please, that's your peak, bro. You're at your prime now. For the next 4 years, it's prime, dude. It's like,
but here's the thing: like, if you look at I don't know what it is with Valorant's competitive scene, but the players are so young. It's crazy how their best players are all like retiring at 23. I don't know how old Tens is now. I think he's like my age, and he's just announced his retirement. He's done. He's leaving Sentinels completely now.
Yeah, but it's like, so see, that's the thing with Valo. Right, Valo, I just hate the
to be fair, Shroud.
I just see colors, dude. I don't even know what's going on when they do the executed stuff.
Green sun, yellow sun, blue sun.
Bro, you got me, dude. Explosions from the sky, smokes, walls of green stuff. Like, I'm like, what is this?
That's where I also am like, okay, this is not precise gunplay anymore. This is just utility.
Yeah, it's just stuff. And then I'm like, I just want to be able to throw a flash on every class that I play. No, this one gets smokes, and that one gets grenades, and this one gets a flash. And I'm just like, well, this is suck. Like, after playing Counter-Strike basically since its inception for like 23 years, I started playing CS when you were born, bro. Just think about it like that.
That's wild.
That's what I know. That was my game, and like scope and playing AWP and stuff was my niche. And now it's just like, I don't know what this is anymore. Like, it's just so horrible. But anyway, the last kind of idea and question that I want to put past you is, what would you like to see change or develop inside the gaming community of South Africa?
I have started a fight against toxicity and sexism and just that kind of stuff in general. I think that the gaming community worldwide is terrible when it comes to sexism and just toxicity in general. Everything seems to be so clicky. Um, that is something that I want people to acknowledge and realize that they need to change. If they want to see a competitive scene in South Africa, they need to stop being so toxic. If Valorant wants a competitive scene, if they want tournaments run, they need to realize that they need to grow up a little bit and have respect for their colleagues and the other people that they are playing with and against. Yes, it's good to have that competitiveness and have a little bit
But it should be a
of
rivalry, not a toxicity. Like,
a rivalry, not a yeah. There needs to be a healthy rivalry between players, not people generally fighting and hating each other. And that's what happens in the South African competitive scene, unfortunately. And that's the change that I want to see because I believe if that change happens, there are going to be more people willing to sponsor tournaments. That's that. I mean, you know why the sponsors have pulled out, and it's because of the toxicity. It's because of people not being able to be human and
well, I think
have
that's
have
intentional.
sportsmanship.
I think it's intentional, kind of boycotting as well, because
Yeah,
this team is playing like I hate that
yeah,
MGO owner or whatever the case is. Like,
yeah. No, straight up. That's that's
I
that's
think that
that's
is a
what
big
needs to
problem.
change.
I will say though that on the after all of this, something I wanted to say earlier, but I thought it would be better to leave it for the end now is with I was already 1 foot out the door because of all of that until I got interconnected because I ran multiple tournaments on esports, right? I did CS, I did Dota, we did
Yeah.
Apex, we covered a
I
fair
would
amount of the
I would
community.
love to cast competitive gameplay. That's something that like I've kind of given up on getting myself into a competitive team.
Mm,
I definitely think that it could happen if I put enough time and effort into it, but
mm,
I would prefer to cast. I would prefer to host watch parties. That kind of thing.
yeah. I just think that, well, like I was saying, I was 1 foot out the door and seeing the friendship between, and that's why I was convinced you guys were from high school, because the friendship between you and Slimy and connecting with guys like Vilge and March and Doru and my boy Frozen, best AWPer the country's seen in years. You're my boy,
Yeah.
Blue. I love you, man. They came up to me at shows and were really polite, really interested in building community youngsters that I saw in and around. And I was just like, there's hope. Like, you guys literally gave me hope for this community. I'm not even kidding. It was 10,000 times worse. The amount of clickiness that we had, bro, it was the same 15 players cycling between different teams, and everybody else was gate kept out. When Sonic came in, Sonic CS, the CSGO player, bro, the amount of that kid had to go through to get into like a team and stuff. When he came and played for BZK the first time, he was like 15 years old. Every single person went and stood behind him and stuff. And then when he turned out to be legit, nobody gave him props. Nobody said, this guy's actually got a future in this game and stuff. He had to grind for like another 2 years before he got real recognition. Like, that's how it felt. Like, it was just horrific, bro. Like, and it's changed so much. And it's because you guys are just not standing for this that's been going on.
That's the whole thing that kind of like goes into people just being envious of others and hating for no reason. And that goes hand in hand with what I said about the community earlier. People hate other people that are successful for no reason, and that's a culture that I want to get rid of. Stop being envious and hating on someone else because of the success that they are making out of their opportunities. Start making a success out of your opportunities. Stop worrying about theirs and start worrying about what you can do to make what you want to do successful. Start putting the work in. Start putting that effort in.
Like,
Maybe
look around
instead
you,
of
dude. Like, the whole country's like in a state of poverty because of unemployment and stuff. You have a PC, you have internet, you have power. Do something with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Instead instead of hating on somebody else because of something that they are making, start putting in the work and effort to do the same thing. Maybe grab some motivation from them and turn that motivation into dedication and work at it instead of sitting there looking at their success and going, oh, they don't deserve it.
Like, learn to shine together is basically
Yeah.
what you're saying in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And I completely agree, dude. I completely agree. Well, that brings us to the end of this. Who is Carlo? Where can people find you? Because I'm going to link all of your stuff in the video description below.
So what I actually do need to do is organize a proper link tree. But my main social page will definitely be on Twitch. You can go to twitch.tv/Kylo_ZA. That is the
Kyle
full name.
Zero.
Kyle, the O being a 0, so Kyle0_ZA. That's where you'll find me streaming every day on Twitch at 10 a.m. in the morning during the weekdays. Every now and then you'll get a special weekend stream or something from me, and obviously the schedule changes up. But then I've obviously got my my Discord and Instagram and other socials that you guys will be able to see linked to my Twitch. But yeah, for most of my serious socials, it's Kyle0_ZA, Kylo_ZA.
Yeah, we're getting rid of the ZA soon, I'm told. It's a thing that
that's the
we're
plan.
distancing ourselves from.
We don't want to be tagged as a ZA streamer necessarily, but that's what we are.
It's fine. You could be Rico and Elza. It could be a lot worse for you. So I think you've done well as far as that goes. That's going to be it for us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We do appreciate you coming to hang out with us and find out who is Kylo ZA. Any final words, sir?
I don't have anything to say. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to kind of just tell everyone who tunes into this about myself. I hope you guys come and check me out live one day.
There we go. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, hope you guys stay safe, keep well, and we will see you.
Awesome.